Earth was once very different, long before humans existed, before memory, before history. This was a primordial world where life was not ruled by intelligence, but by instinct. Millions of years ago, forests stretched endlessly. Skies had never known the smoke of civilization, and the ground trembled beneath the footsteps of giants. Every movement here was part of the natural order. There was no good, no evil, only survival. The weight of an entire era pressed itself into the earth. In this world, the ones who endure were not the fastest, but those strong enough and experienced enough to remain. And within this world, there were those who stood above all others. Not kings, not gods, only perfect predators. Its breath carried the scent of soil, of blood, and of time itself. Those eyes had witnessed countless endings. To the prey, silence was the greatest fear. For when the ground began to tremble, it was already too late to run. The roar echoed, not as a threat, but as a reminder to the world of who truly ruled it. The forest answered with panic. The sky recoiled. Life, for a moment, bowed its head. And then, everything fell silent again. The powerful do not hurry, because the world had grown accustomed to their presence. The river continued to flow. Time continued to pass. Life went on, as if nothing had changed. Yet beneath that calm surface, nature always hides its secrets. And nothing is eternal, not even for the strongest. Time always takes everything back. The wind shifted. The forest stirred. Nature began to whisper warnings of what was to come. The ground trembled softly, like an irregular heartbeat, a sign only those who had lived long enough could feel. It stopped. It listened, because instinct knew what was approaching. It was not prey. The sky changed color. The light felt unfamiliar, and somewhere far away, an era was quietly approaching its end. Hunger came quietly, not as pain, but as absence. The land grew empty. The silence stretched longer than before. Once, the hunt was instinct, effortless, certain. Now, every movement demanded more than the body could give. A glimpse of prey appeared in the distance, a fragile promise. Hope measured in heartbeats. Muscles tightened. Instinct awakened. The old rhythm returned. But the world no longer moved at the same pace. The chase began. Trees blurred. The earth thundered beneath fading strength. And then it was gone. The forest swallowed the prey, leaving only breath in dust and failure. Age revealed itself not in scars, but in exhaustion, in the weight of every breath drawn too slow. And then another presence emerged, younger, stronger, unburdened by time. There was no hatred between them, only inevitability. The world does not wait for those who grow old. The clash was brief, uneven, decisive. Power passed without ceremony, and the one who once ruled was left behind, alone, not defeated by an enemy, but by time itself. Retreat was not weakness, it was survival. The land grew quieter as it walked away, carry with it the memory of a rain that would never return. And then, in the stillness of the forest, something small moved, fragile, afraid, a life that should not have survived. Instinct answered first. The predator recognized opportunity. Hunger recognized prey. Yet something else lingered, a hesitation born not of weakness, but of memory. It turned away, leaving the small one behind, alone with fear. But after a single step, it stopped. The world held its breath. For the first time, instinct did not command the body. Choice did. It turned back, not as a hunter, but as a shield. The old giant stood between danger and innocence, its shadow falling not in threat, but in protection. And in the eyes of the smallest life, fear slowly gave way to trust. The sky changed first. Color drained from the light. The air grew heavy, thick with ash and warning. The world began to close in on itself. What followed was not sudden. It was relentless. The earth cracked. Fire rose from beneath ancient ground. Forests that stood for ages fell in moments. Panic spread through every living thing, but there was nowhere left to run. Instinct became urgency, survival became movement, and in the chaos, the old one did not flee alone. It turned back, again and again, standing between destruction and something smaller than itself, something fragile. The fire drew closer, the ground burned, the sky tore itself open, and then the heavens fell. A final light consumed the horizon, not in anger, not in judgment, but in indifference. The roar that followed was not a cry for dominance. It was a farewell, a defiance against the inevitable. And then there was only light. Silence followed. Ash settled where life once moved. The world exhaled, empty. Time passed, slowly, endlessly. What was flesh became stone. What was movement became memory. Beneath layers of earth, the giants slept, preserved not by intention, but by time. And long after the world had changed, new hands uncovered the old bones, not as conquerors, but as witnesses. We looked upon them with wonder, with reverence, and with questions we still cannot answer. They once ruled this world, not through wisdom, not through cruelty, but simply because their time had come. And when that time ended, the world moved on without pause. We stand now where they once stood, beneath the weight of our own age. And if their bones have taught us anything, it is this: no species rules forever. Time does not choose sides. It only continues.